Digicel TV, home of Rugby League. Dial *515# to subscribe.
Hello, this is the Midday News. Thanks for joining us. Sinasina Yangumul MP Kerangakua was commended for his dedicated service to the country as the Petroleum Minister. Prime Minister James Marape revealed that Mr. Kua submitted his resignation letter during a recent meeting, where they engaged in a comprehensive discussion about the work undertaken since 2019, including initiatives related to Papua LNG and pending changes to the production sharing regime law. Mr. Kua is one of the nation's longest-serving petroleum ministers, serving in this role from June 2019 until the 2022 elections. The recent cabinet reshuffle announced on Thursday, January 25th, Mr. Kua was relieved of his role as petroleum minister to concentrate on energy. He chose to resign voluntarily last week. New Porgera Limited announced this morning that the restart of Porgera is on track, with first gold production expected to be achieved in Q1 2024. The smooth project start is subject to the Highlands Highway continuing to remain open and no further vandalism of project infrastructure. NPL has acknowledged the efforts made by the NPL workforce and the support of the regulator, the Mineral Resources Authority, to restart the Porgera mine in compliance with the laws of Papua New Guinea. Following completions under the Porgera project, commencement agreement on 22nd December 2023, NPL has delivered in getting back into full production in Q3. Meantime, NPL has already commenced payment of 4.6 million Kina outstanding compensation fees for the period that Porgera was in care and maintenance. It will soon commence negotiation of the long-term compensation agreements with landholders' agents. At the request of the government, BSP Financial Group Limited has agreed to provide Puma a further 90-day extension to the 8th of March 2024 for the closure of its accounts. This extension has been granted on the basis that additional time is required for Puma to complete transferring its banking requirements to another bank in PNG. This action is in response to the request dated 25th January 2024 from Prime Minister James Marape. The civil unrest that affected many parts of the nation between 10th and 11th of January 2024 were both unfortunate and unforeseen. BSP has granted this extension considering disruptions in normal business operations for other banks, financial institutions, and the business community. The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission is soliciting feedback on VB Limited proposed equity investment in MR Industrial PNG Property Limited. VBR, a subsidiary of Vision Blue Resources Limited, aims to acquire a 49% stake in MR Industrials, which owns the Central Line project in Papua New Guinea. Maya Resources Limited, MR Industrials' parent company, focuses on developing PNG's natural resources, including iron sands, lime and renewable energy. ICCC Commissioner Paulus Ain invites stakeholders to provide comments on potential competition impacts in PNG's markets resulting from the investment. The National Weather Service has renewed a gale wind warning for Coral Sea, including coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesia border to Daru. There is very strong northwest winds of 34 to 47 knots expected to continue for the next 6 to 24 hours, causing very rough and high seas. All small crafts, boats and seas-going vessels are advised to take necessary precautions before going out or avoid going out to sea, especially over the warning areas. Villages along the coastline of warning areas are also advised to take necessary precautions to avoid danger. In regional news, outback Queensland is being transformed by ex-tropical cyclone as it dumps heavy rain on usually dry landscape. Roads have gone under and some town cut-off graziers are celebrating.
In parts of outback Queensland, the floodwaters stretch to the horizon. It's a welcome sight for those on the land.
Without rain, this country struggles, and I know they've been getting the lockdown south and different parts of the state look at it differently, but we love it out here.
Some properties near Winton recorded more than 300 millimetres of rain in 24 hours. It's cut roads, not that locals are complaining.
Pretty happy. Lovely to see.
At Springshaw, west of Rockhampton, overnight storms lit up the sky, dumping rain and transforming the morning walk. The remnants of ex-tropical cyclone Kirrily have largely stalled over the state's northwest, meaning more falls are on the way.
Well, certainly a watch point for Western Queensland, with a protracted significant rain and flood event likely.
In its wake, some communities remain cut off. This bridge into Georgetown in the Gulf Country collapsed before the rain hit, but floodwaters have made a temporary fix more challenging. And in Townsville, crews are working to reconnect tens of thousands of customers who've been without power in heatwave conditions for several days. In the state southeast, it's been hot too, with some areas recording their highest overnight temperatures in nearly 30 years. But by morning, there was some relief. More than 200 mils was recorded in some parts, with the potential for more to come.
Certainly a risk of 50 to 100 mil broadly over parts of the southeast in its vicinity. In fact, localised falls in excess of 200 mil could be possible.
For those eager for sunshine, they'll have to wait.
The United Nations head has called on the US and others, including Australia, to resume funding its main agency providing aid in Gaza after Israel accused a dozen employees of taking part in the October 7th attacks. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency will be forced to stop its support to more than 2 million Palestinians in Gaza by the end of February after funding was stopped. A quarter of Gaza's population is facing starvation as fighting continues, with hundreds of Israeli settlers gathered for a convention calling for Israel to rebuild settlements in Gaza. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has called on the Albanese government to give greater certainty to the state's salmon industry, warning livelihoods have been left in limbo.
An industry living up to its reputation as a political battleground. Liberal leader Peter Dutton has visited Strawn to meet with salmon farmers.
We're really pleased to be here to speak to locals and to get a better understanding of the practical environment and the issues which are really causing great angst and concern to many locals here in Strawn.
Just last week, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese made a visit to Tasmania to reassure workers.
I just think the Prime Minister was being dishonest with the people of Tasmania. I think he came here with a glib line.
Consultation on whether a review of approvals of salmon farming in Macquarie Harbour should occur is underway, after environmental groups raised concerns operations could wipe out the endangered Maugean skate. But those in the sector believe saving the skate shouldn't come at the cost of their livelihoods.
the impact isn't just only on Macquarie Harbour, it's broad. So we have hatcheries all around the state.
There's a lot of scrutiny on it. There's a lot of people talking intensely about it, and it seems to me too often some of the local people who live and work in this industry don't often get heard enough.
A decision on where salmon farming can occur here in Macquarie Harbour is still under consideration by the Federal Environment Minister. In the meantime, a joint trial by the Commonwealth and Salmon Tasmania is set to begin, aiming to increase the levels of dissolved oxygen here in the harbour and save the Maugean skate from extinction.
The Minister for the Environment needs to go through the due process under the former Howard government's laws that are before us. That is what she is required to do by the law. We know that Peter Dutton is a rare visitor to this island. I'm glad he's finally turned up.
Minister Plibersek's office said she was unable to comment due to being a legal decision-maker in the process. Public consultation for the review closes next Friday.
Rohan Bopanna, aged 43, became the oldest male player in the Open era to ever win Grand Slam title. Bopanna and Matthew, Australia's Abden, competed at 7-4-6, 7-4-5 victory over Italians Simon Bolelli and Andrea Vavasori, producing a dominant 7 performance in which they did not face a single break point. Bopanna said this was the best moment in his career. He said he had thought of quitting the game, but to just persevere and enjoy what he was doing, which he thinks was the best thing for him. Bopanna was no intention of retiring from tennis, just yet, especially when he says he is playing the best tennis of his life at the age of 43. Here are the match highlights.
But they're showing sets in Melbourne. And they're 1 set away. Come on. Upton did incredibly well. Bopanna and Upton serving for the championship.
And that ends the midday news. Join us for more at 6 p.m.